Welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Sunday-ish afternoon. I don't know if you're going to be that happy. Obviously, the game has literally just finished. I know I normally do these sort of reviews the next day and what have you, but with the North London derby, sometimes it's just a bit different, isn't it? Spurs 2, Arsenal 3. It was a game... It's a cliche. It's a game of two halves. So we'll talk about some stats. We're going to talk through some key things. Some noticeable issues, and also things to be actually happy about. So, yeah, just want to say, though, if you're new, give us a subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. So let's talk the game in its entirety. Look, in the first half, we actually played well, but we just aren't very good at defending set pieces. That's not groundbreaking news. That's not shocking news. Even I think rival fans could say, they're not that great at defending set pieces. And then a counter-attack goal, So going into half, 3-0 down, it was an annoying situation because we hadn't actually played poorly. Normally when you go in 3-0 down, you think, God, you've been bullied and dominated. With Newcastle, when we played away to Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, I was like, God, we weren't good in the first half. We had spells and things like that. Whereas this game, I was like, actually, we were good. But set pieces let us down again, and that's something that needs to be fixed and sorted. It just does. The longer this has gone on, the more we've just conceded more and more goals, and the more we've thrown away more and more games. So there's that. Second half was a lot more like the Spurs of what we've seen earlier on this season, and normally what we see where we go 1 or 2-0 down, and it's all right, gung ho. We're going to go for this, and it was good. We played well. Obviously, Romero was pressing to every corner of the field. Gary Neville was like, that's the centre half, and he's pressing like a striker. And genuinely, Romero was, he was kind of probably the instigator of what our form was going to be in the second half. I mean, I was looking at stats. We had more shots than them. We had 63% possession against Arsenal. We had 555 passes. We had more corners than them, so we played well, and had the ball landed a different way here and there, we would have scored 4, 5, 6. Or genuinely, we could have scored multiple. We had one over the top to Sonny where he skies it. I mean, Romero's missed the glance ahead of Raya. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. One thing I don't get, though, and it seems to happen every game, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it. We commit less fouls but get more bookings than the other team. We committed 12 fouls and had 2 yellow cards. They committed 16 and had 1. How Tomiyasu wasn't booked, by the way. He had like 6 fouls on his own or something ridiculous. So, it was a tough one to take. It is what it is. It is what it is. I think... Look, we still win 2 games in hand. We go a point behind Villa. But to be honest, I'm looking at it now kind of going, we're going to be getting Europa League football. I think that's to be expected, to be honest. The team that started, obviously, Vic in goal, Porro at right back, Ben Davies at left back. He had a tough game. Saka's not an easy one, especially when, you're not frequently playing. You come in, you have to deal with him. Mickey and Romero at centre-half, Bentancur, Højbjerg, and Madders was your midfield 3, and then Kulu, Werner, and Son. So Werner obviously getting injured. It was a bit of a shame. He looked fairly lively, but got injured. Johnson came on and I thought looked actually quite good. I was quite impressed with Johnson, actually, especially when they moved him over to the right. When he was on the left, he was running at White and he was going past him, but when they moved him to the left, he was, just flinging himself way past Tomiyasu. I thought Kulu had a decent game. There was times where you're like, he annoys you. But I thought as a whole, he had a decent game. I think Bentancur, he was just a bit, not average in a bad way, but I use that in a way where he didn't really do anything wrong. He didn't really do anything right. He just kind of was there in the first half. I thought Højbjerg, again, sloppy passing from him. He was all right, but Basuma came on and we were better. And I don't want to hear about how he can break up play and things like that because, they scored 3, I don't think he broke up a lot. Sonny worked himself into the ground. Obviously, we got a penalty, by the way. Our second one of the season. It's only taken till April 28th to get a second penalty of the season. Great penalty. Took it very, very well. Madders, struggled. Definitely struggled. Going into that Chelsea game, I think there's going to be rotation again. The one thing I have noticed is I love Mickey van der Ven. And you saw that pace come into full effect that, Martinelli and Havertz, and he was dominating. He's not good at defending his own crosses, the opposition crosses and like corners. I have noticed. And Paul O'Keefe actually mentioned something, and I've said it a few times. You miss Harry Kane at the front post. He cleared so many crosses and corners and things like that because he was so good at defending that front post, and we've missed that. Hence why I think when we go for a striker this summer, we need a guy that's got a bit of something about him, a bit of presence that he can clear. He can win headers. So look, it's a tough game. It was a tough game to kind of go from that. I thought Pape looked good coming off the bench. Like I said, Johnson, Basuma, solid. Lo Celso was thrown on for 5-10 minutes, not enough time. Obviously, he only came on really because Davies went off. I think might have been like a bit of a dead leg sort of a situation. So he came on at left back. Richie was lively. And Neville said it. It was like Porro and Romero, they're wanting a confrontation. And Richie did want confrontations. So in reality, Arsenal were, probably the better team in the first half. We did good things, but I'd probably say it's fair to say they were a better team. Regardless of the score, the set pieces, they were the better team. Second half, we were miles better. And look, when you got your chances, you take them. And they, I wouldn't even say they took their chances because I think they had, let me bring up here, they had 9 shots, 3 goals. So they, in terms of shots on target, they were clinical, and so are we because we had 14 shots and 2 shots on target, which that's not good enough. We need to be literally needing to double that, tripling that sort of thing. So look, tough game, but we dust ourselves down. We go again ahead of the next game. I believe it's Chelsea. I don't want to don't hold me to that. Yeah, Chelsea Thursday night, 7:30 kickoff. Obviously, I'll do the preview on Wednesday, but that's a tough one. Obviously, we've got Sheffield United who will be relegated by that point. Burnley will be scrapping and fighting. Obviously, Liverpool. Look, you never know with Liverpool in the title race. You just don't know. And obviously, we've got City, which I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm thinking. So it is what it is. I just want to quickly bring up the league table before I sort of give some players some ratings and things like that. Sitting in, obviously, 5th, 6 points clear with a game in hand of 6th and 7 and a game in hand ahead of 7th. 2 games in hand on Villa, but yeah, we're 7 points behind. So win both of those. You never know, but I think Europa League is probably where I'm going to be sitting here on this time of the season with 5 games to go. Proud of the second half. First half wasn't the best. But yeah, just go through sort of ratings. I thought Vic, if we go 6 as average, I thought Vic was probably a 6, to be honest. It made some all right saves, but maybe in a 5 even. I thought commanding of his own box wasn't great. Porro, I'd say Porro was a 6, to be honest, because the goals didn't come from his side. Set pieces, obviously, you're not expecting Porro to dominate on corners and things like that. Obviously, their counter-attack came from... Sorry, the one thing I would say, actually, on that counter-attack, him and Romero mucked up because they both tracked a runner and one of them didn't press the ball, so they had to do that. I'd say 6. I think Romero, I'd say a 6 again, just because of the set-piece defending and things like that. He did get a goal, which I'm going to... 6, 6.5, something like that. Mickey, 5, maybe a 6. I think he... Yeah, again, it was an all right game. Ben's, look, I think a 5, but it was a tough game for Ben, obviously against Saka. Bentancur, 5. Højbjerg, I'd probably say a 5, maybe 5.5. Thought Kulu, decent with a 6, maybe. Madders, 5. Werner, I'll give him 6 just because it's an average and he did get injured. Sonny, I'll give a 6.5 because scored. Off the bench, anyone that played reasonable minutes, I thought Johnson I'd probably say a 7 because he was lively. Pape 6.5, something similar with Basuma, and obviously the two weren't on very long. But yeah, look, lads, dust ourselves down. We will go again on Thursday, but we shall see. But anyway, guys, then the video. Hope you enjoy it. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comment section your thoughts and feelings about the game. You know, your player ratings if you want to do something like that. All that stuff. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the notification for more. But anyway, guys, then the video. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.